So yesterday, very early in the morning, a lot of Twitch employees, actually around 30% of the task force in Twitch, was notified that they were laid off, which is like that sucks. And I honestly like as a person who is working in a startup environment in the SaaS, and living through a bunch of layoffs, I know how horrible that is and how heartbreaking that might be. Um, and today we're going to talk about the reasons and how those things are structured and what is behind most of those. So let's first hear out a very interesting part of Dan's speech to the audience.
We really need to run the company based upon where we're at today. Um, we've implied this before, where we say we need to run it sustainably. But I'll be blunt. We aren't profitable at this point. Amazon has been extremely supportive of Twitch, and a big thing for being sustainable over time is ensuring that we don't lose money, and that's a big part.
And this is the big thing that everyone is sort of like trying to um, hinge on, which is like the not profitable and being big supported of Amazon. A lot of people have interesting takes on this, and we will take a look at a couple. But I actually don't agree with most of them, but I will talk about this later. Let's first hear them out.
Part of my job because that's going to be what makes sure we can be here for long term. Um, we've been very clear about the importance of our efforts to try and continue to provide more resources to streamers. We did that with the Partner Plus program. We did that with the Ads Incentive program. I've stated many times that I'd love to lower the threshold there, because so many of you, your lives depend upon Twitch and the money you make from Twitch. Um, and so we're very focused on continuing to grow Twitch, and continuing to make Twitch the place it has been for so long. I want to be clear that we still have more than enough resources. We are still a reasonably sized organization. We're still going to be able to service your needs. We're still going to be able to improve the product. We won't be able to do as much as we would have done before. But I think we're still going to see a lot happening.
In a nutshell, what he was saying is, so the company is not profitable. The Amazon still in support of Twitch, but the changes are coming. One of the changes is adjustment of the task force. For now, I'm going to reserve my opinion because I want to show you something else, which is the most critical take on the situation. I want to show you this as well before I'm going to talk about this a little bit.
Twitch is really going through it right now. They are struggling through a hard time internally. They just had to announce that they're stopping the Twitch service in South Korea because it's just prohibitively expensive. They also had the huge round of layoffs last year that you might remember. Negative clams are being generated by Twitch, and it seems to just keep getting worse. They just had to announce another wave of layoffs at Twitch with 500 employees losing their jobs. 35% of the Twitch workforce was being laid off, as confirmed by Dan Clancy. And today, Dan Clancy actually did a stream just being fully transparent, going over a lot of things, such as the layoffs, as well as just Twitch not really making money. Again, that's not a secret. We all knew that. That's about as much of a secret as me being short. Like, everyone knows by just taking a look at Twitch and what's been going on. It definitely fucking sucks how many people just lost their jobs in this most recent wave here, and it's even more unfortunate that it's not exclusive to just Twitch here. This has become extremely common in the tech industry because so many companies like Twitch started overhiring and went through this period of overgrowth, especially during COVID, and now all at once they're starting to downsize and lay off a ton of people like what they just did. And that's something Dan also talks about.
That we've implied this before, where we say we need to run it sustainably. But I'll be blunt. We aren't profitable at this point. Amazon has been extremely supportive of Twitch, and a big thing for being sustainable over time is ensuring that we don't lose money. And that's a big part of my job because that's going to be what makes sure we can be here for long term.
I'm actually quite surprised that a lot of people are like profitability and like time to profitability, specifically with like entertainment platforms, are not something unique. like YouTube was unprofitable for a very long time. Amazon is still barely profitable. It was unprofitable in a couple of years back. This is the chart of profitability of Amazon. This is the revenue. But there's the other chart, which is the actual net gains, which is the yearly revenue of the company. And the yearly revenue of the company is actually quite low. In fact, in a couple of years, specifically in 2022, or earlier than that, back in 2014, the company was net negative. And that's not a surprising thing for Amazon. If you're looking at like their income statements, which is generated for each of the quarter, the net profits is like 2% margins, like to the entirety of the business, right? So the profitability of the platform and profitability of Amazon in general is quite slim. And like usually inside of their statements, they are lumping up advertisement. So Twitch and Amazon advertisement is lumped together. So when Dan is saying like we are not profitable, there is a lot of things that he can mean by that. I don't think that this is like something very new. So I was just generally surprised that a lot of videos about this, a lot of takes on this topic was connected to specifically for some reason like unprofitability of the platform, and that's like the main topic. It feels like more of a statement rather than the main reason, but anyway.
Say something that I had to raise my eyebrow at, and if this was an NFL game and I was a coach, I'd probably be throwing a challenge flag on the play. He says that Amazon has been super supportive of Twitch, and to that I have to say, are you sure? This is maybe some kind of hostage situation? Is Jeff Bezos just off camera with a baseball bat with nails through it, threatening you to say things like that? One of the major criticisms a lot of people, myself included, have stated is that Amazon seems really hands-off with Twitch as a product.
Which is the main reason why it's being considered helpful. When you're buying a platform or when you're buying a product, and specifically when you're looking at this, right? So the Twitch, which is like one of the, or Prime Audible, right? Which they're also bought. When you're buying a third-party platform, yeah, and you're trying to integrate this into the family, there's two ways of how you can do this. Either you can do this very brutally, and a good example would be Skype and Windows, right? Not Windows, but Microsoft. Yeah, you can get it, you can integrate, you can shove it in the platform with all the might you have and kill platform by doing so. Because look, Skype was the tool. Like people were Skyping each other left and right. But after 5 years of that forceful integration into the stack, where Skype is, nobody knows what the fuck Skype is anymore, right? Everyone is using, Discord, Slack, or whatever tool you're using, right? And that's what being like supportive, yeah? So the fact that Amazon is leaving Twitch alone and giving them a space and actually giving them additional tools and actually leaving them alone to figure out their shit, I would say it's pretty supportive. And there is another reason why I will say this. I will say this because I find it very funny that nobody remembers how Jeff was talking about his own company. So this is the interview of Jeff Bezos from 1999.
Here's the thing I don't understand. The company is worth billions.
Yes.
And every time I pick up the paper, each year it loses more money than it lost the year before. The company's never made a profit.
That's right.
Now, why? How does that, why?
Seems like a new math, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, it's to someone who doesn't know anything about this. It's amazing. We lost $12 billion last year, and we're doing great.
Well, there are a whole series of Doonesbury cartoons about this. This is not a new phenomenon. We are a famously unprofitable company,
right.
And we are investing in the future. It's not, which isn't unusual. Companies have done this before. What's a little surprising about Amazon.com is the scale to which we're doing it. We're doing it in a big way.
I see. So you just keep reinvesting.
We're reinvesting.
Now,
I feel like what is happening and the reason why Amazon is supportive of Twitch and the reason why you see such a big operating expensive on the Amazon side and the reason the net profit is so slim is because of the reinvestment and the changing of the marketing and not marketing, but the business model and the business structures in order to build for the future growth. So I would say it's not surprising at all.
For the entire time it's owned it, it hasn't really done too much to try and elevate it, improve it, fix things when things are broken, or really much of anything at all. I think the major contribution that the public can point to when it comes to Twitch and Amazon working together is Amazon offering the Twitch Prime subs, which is a huge component to Twitch, of course. It is a very big deal. But aside from that, there haven't been too many things that Amazon has done for Twitch, at least in what I've seen and what most people have seen. But with the way Dan talks about it throughout this stream, it does seem like Amazon might be significantly more supportive behind closed doors than any of us could possibly ever know.
But I found it interesting, right? And I don't expect, Twitch streamers or YouTubers to understand this, but the phrase "let's fix something" inside of a different company, it's very hard for me to comprehend. So usually the structures of the company is based like this, right? Like you have an internal product team, you have an internal engineers, you have the internal stack. And each company inside of this domain, which is Amazon, right? So Amazon Store, Amazon like subscriptions, AWS, other teams, all of them have their own stuffing, right? Like all of them have their own teams. So you cannot just take engineers from AWS and say, hey, go and fix something in Amazon, or go fix something in Amazon.com store for some reason, or go fix something in Twitch. They're different companies, they're different entities, they're different employees, they have different understanding of how things work. So they cannot just go somewhere and fix things. The only thing that they can say is, and the only, I think, the way they're affiliated with each other is when Dan is going to like the XLT meeting or like the leadership meeting of Amazon, and he's like reporting on stuff, and then Jeff can challenge him or say, hey, well look at this more closely, or go and fix that problem. And that's Dan's job as a CEO of the company to fix it. Like it's not Amazon's job to fix anything. The only thing that Amazon can do, and probably they can figure out, is like, well, let's build like a cross functional or cross organizational opportunities or alliances to do something together, which potentially can be those Amazon Prime deals or anything along those lines. So, and if anything, I think by them not being so involved or so hands-on, I think giving more credit to the way that this company is structured or the way they're trying to operate
across the company in terms of how to set us up for the long term. I think we will continue to evolve different aspects of our program, because part of what I'm trying to do is get us into a framework that can live over a long time. The size of the company is one of those things that gets us to the right size for the longer period of time. When we did Partner Plus, we structured that so that we could continue to move that threshold. We're going to keep looking across our strategy with streamers. We did this with the Ads Incentive Program. We want to get to where we can continue to grow and adapt and change as the market changes. And so there may be other changes, but I will tell you, Prime is an important part for our viewers and our creators. So it's
the underlying thing that Dan is saying here is they're trying to attract advertisers in a bigger, more significant way to the platform in order to support this stable growth of the platform. Because let's face it, like the entirety of the Twitch operating model is not really at all about entertainment or streaming. The entertainment and streaming, it's the means of how they're earning their money, which is advertisement. And by the fact that the Twitch is unprofitable at the moment, the main thing that he's saying that we cannot really attract enough advertisers in order to cover our losses. On top of that, like when you're looking at some of the tweets, there was a couple of interesting one, which is, Twitch is done with big streamer contracts. I think the interesting part of this is the advertisement itself and how advertisement changing throughout the years. So today on our Marketing Friday, and what we are doing on the Marketing Friday is not really reacting to things, but I just thought that it's a very interesting segue to the topic that we are having today, because the topic that we are having today for the Marketing Friday is really about a lot about advertisement. So let's dive into this, shall we?